Okay, it's my first week in Masters on this account, so I went ahead and got some nice additions to my inventory. First, Shinjin M popped up in my exchange shop, so I went ahead and salvaged some of my useless stigmata to exchange for it. Yeah, I know, full set for a 3-month-old coming to 4-month-old account. That is simply amazing. I don't even have the full set on my main account in the Southeast Asian server, and I actually buy crystals over there, so yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyway, I went all out and spent a bunch of Astrite and got Twilight Paladin to 4-star augment. So she is maxed out at the moment. 4 stars is the maximum an S-rank Violet Executor can get to, and I'm really happy about it because I really did that in preparation for Masters tier. That's why I kind of delayed it for a week. I mean my leveling up from 69 to 70. And the bosses for this week were revealed. So we got the Quantum Ball, but that wasn't too much of the problem, even though it's like a new thing that we have to deal with. The problem was DXY, Dark Shinjin. I was never good at DXY, and this time I screwed up so bad. So the team I went in with was Yamabuki Armor, Void Drifter, and Twilight Paladin. In theory, it sounds really good, and someone in the top 100 of DXY scores actually used the exact same team. So I'm gonna be able to get most of the equipment that you see here, except for Heikate's Gloom. But before that, before I talk about how I'm gonna obtain new stuff and upgrade everything, I'm just gonna show you guys the run and kind of walk you guys through what I was doing. I didn't really do well, as you might guess, but it's, the first week in Masters, and this is a completely F2P account, so it will definitely take some time to build up. So if you're F2P and you're new to the game, don't be discouraged because that's the way it goes. In every game, you're not gonna be like super godlike the moment you enter the game, especially if you're not gonna be buying anything. But you get better over time and you learn how to deal with stuff. As long as you buy the right stuff, like when you have enough of like resonators, like me, I just bought JSTM, right? So if you do go for the right stuff, that will definitely make your team stronger. You're eventually going to be able to handle the Memorial Arena properly, and you'll be able to hit certain milestones like I am doing for this account. So I'm hoping that this account will one day be able to hit 100,000 points in the Memorial Arena, Masters tier of course. And then, if it does that, I'll decide on whether or not I want to move on to Exalted tier. Yeah. So anyway, let's go into the rounds. Starting with the easiest one, Padrino. So basically, all I had to do was to use Valkyrie Pledge by herself. She can actually solo this boss. But with this setup, I did actually get like 1,000 more points. So that wasn't too bad. But I didn't actually need Valkyrie Exhibitor and Umbral Rose. It was just in preparation for the shielded phase because I wanted to use them to get behind Padrino, because Valkyrie Exhibitor evading already has a time fracture, and then once you hit the impair onto Padrino and get Umbral Rose's QTE, that also activates a time fracture. And so once you switch Teresa in, you actually do have a bit of time to attack Padrino from behind, and that was the intention. It did more or less meet the objective I had for it, but I didn't really need it. The score I did with Teresa by herself was 28800, so that wasn't too bad, and I think if Valkyrie Exhibitor was actually free to be put on DXY with that additional 200% shield damage, we might have gotten somewhere. I might be wrong, but it was worth a shot. I didn't even get the chance to try it because I locked this in on the 4th fight, sadly. But anyway, 29813 was the score that Valkyrie Pledge and this setup got me. Moving on to the Quantum Ball, I chose the Herrscher of Reason to be my main DPS. Most people actually use Solitaire Phantasm, but I don't have a Scythe, and I don't really have more than one physical equipment set, because, I thought Twilight Paladin would be the main DPS on DXY, and so I went with the Herrscher of Reason, and initially the team was Flame Sakitama, Valkyrie Triumph, and the Herrscher of Reason. So why I did that was, I gotta really stop thinking about this one. I kept wanting to use Lord Sakura's active skill as an elemental support. It didn't really work last week, and it's probably not gonna ever work. So yeah, I'm gonna take Flame Sakatama out of the equation totally, and use her as a main DPS like I should all the time. But anyway, if you have no idea how to take on this boss, basically each quantum monster that it turns into will have a certain attack that you can evade, and as you just saw, I got a charge. So once you have those charges, for this one, if you have 2 charges, or I don't know if you can accumulate them, so if you get 1 charge, hit the enemy, and then you get another charge, hit it again, and it will turn into a form, which is this white color form, and it changes its type. So once it does that, you can actually deal more damage to it. The other option is basically to use Zele's ultimate. The last hit turns them into that type as well. And so that's why I switched to Valkyrie Chariot to pull them together, and then Swallowtail Phantasm's ultimate to turn them into the white type, and use the House of Reason to finish them off. If you have Stygian Nymph, you could probably do the same thing, just that you don't need another DPS because Stygian Nymph herself is a DPS, and she's going to be the main DPS for this boss until people come up with something new, but that's pretty unlikely. So that's one of the reasons to get her when she comes out if you really want to, but you don't really have to. There are still a lot of other strategies that use the Hierarchy of Reason and get really good scores. So for me though, I don't really have her well equipped right now. I do use the Star of Eden as my main weapon. It's not totally upgraded. I am going to switch to Briareus PRI if I get the chance to. I'm still farming it from the bounty mark. Yeah, so before that, my Hierarchy of Reason isn't at her optimal state. So I did a few rounds on the Quantum Ball, and that was pretty much the best results I could get, and I stuck with it. So now we move on to Dark Shinjin, which is the worst for this week. So there were just so many mistakes made that made this boss fight really excruciating, and the first thing was that I locked Valkyrie Exhibitor in Padrino when I didn't really have to. So then I lose out on the extra shield damage, and also she does actually have Impair, which is going to be able to activate the QTE of both Void Drifter and Twilight Paladin anyway, so, you know, that would have been a great boost, I guess. But like I said, I'm not too sure if I'll be able to actually do better, but I wouldn't know because I already locked her in, so I'll have to be more careful next time. The other mistake that I made was to lock Flame Sakitama in the Quantum Ball, and that one is really sad because I didn't even end up using her, and she would have gotten me, I don't know, probably like 5,000 more points for this boss if she were the main DPS. I know she's not like optimally equipped, but she still is really strong. And as you can see, the mech types have a type disadvantage against DXY while she's on the horse, but I thought I could rely on Void Drifter's high shield damage to actually take the shield down, and the first few rounds were okay. So the jump from like the 4th to the 5th fight for DXY was actually huge, and the shield damage really caught me off guard. So I should have known that because I did that in my main account. Like in my main account, I also have a lot of problems with DXY, but later on, you know, I learned like the one-shot strategies and stuff like that. So I think it's been quite a while since I had to face her like in a drawn-out fight as compared to just finishing her off with one of the newer strategies. And yeah, most of that was what caused me to kind of drop the ball on this one. So basically, the strategy involves me using Yamabuki Armor to trigger the QTE for Void Drifter and Twilight Paladin, and then Void Drifter comes out. Her QTE does actually do decent damage to the shield, but still, it's really, really low. And that was pretty much the main issue I was having with this boss. Its shield is just so hard to get past, and because of that, I couldn't actually have like a good rotation put in place to maximize the damage from Twilight Paladin, which could actually get me really far, because when the shield is down, Twilight Paladin can actually deal a ton of damage. So I got it right on this instance. Like, I got the yellow paint down, and then Twilight Paladin came out. The only problem was that I didn't really have a 200 combo, but as you saw, the damage done was decent. So damage-wise, I think I was still okay. It was just the shield damage, which is kind of more specific, and I just didn't have the team combination proper in the first place, and that led to the fight. I just didn't meet some of the criteria needed to actually make the fight work. So like I mentioned earlier, someone else used the same combination of Valkyries, maybe slightly better equipment, which I do actually have access to. It's just I didn't anticipate the strength of DXY's shield, I guess. And so this is the result of me not planning properly. But yeah, back to like the equipment and stuff. I think like I don't really have to comment on the fight anymore because it's just about ending. I hope. Anyway, yeah. So for the equipment, I can almost get Mjolnir. I could actually get it by the end of the week and get a better score, but you know I don't think it's really worth the effort. So I'm just gonna let this week slide. My end score was somewhere around 84,700 to about 85,000. That put me in 12%. So it was bad. It was really bad. And the sad part is that it's not because I'm F2P. I do actually have pretty decent stuff. It's just I was a bad player. And so I will definitely do better. I will definitely be more careful. And so now I'm going to go into like, you know, spending of in-game currency and what I have access to, or what we have access to in general. But before that, I'm just gonna show you guys a 10 pull I did for the expansion for Stygian Nymph. People have been asking if I'll be pulling for it. Definitely on the Southeast Asian server, but not, I mean, like, I won't be going all out on the Chinese server. As usual, I'm just gonna do like a 10 pull to see if I can get it in 10 pulls. Otherwise, it's gonna go to pushing the S rank guarantee counter down. So the Valkyries that I want to get right now would be Stygian Nymph, the Heasha of the Void, and the Celestial Hymn. So I don't really have to pull for the Heasha of Reason anymore because on this account it's very unlikely that I'll ever get her to double S, or you know, at least anytime soon. It's possible that I do that, but it's gonna take a super long time. So I'm not gonna go for that. I'm just gonna aim for the other Valkyries that are really strong. And yeah, definitely the Celestial Hymn. I think she will be useful in a number of situations, and that's what I want her for. So anyway, the 10 pull was done, and I got 2 character cards, more than I could ask for, but I did not get the S-rank Valkyrie, which is okay. We're now at 90 on the S-rank counter, and I could actually do probably another 10 pulls while the banner is still up, but I'm not going to do that. Anything else will be saved and probably going to Focused. Okay, so now we've got that over and done with. I'm going to go back to like what kind of improvements I can be doing for this account. First of all, we're going to look at the DXY problem because that was like the biggest problem among all of the 3 bosses for this round. I can match most of what this guy has. Over time, I'll be able to farm for Vital Executor and Void Drifter fragments, so that wouldn't be a problem. Mjolnir is available in the BP shop for 10 Lucians. I have 8 right now, and I haven't bought the 2 from the revamped base shop yet. So I'm not going to go too far into details of the new revamped base, but what it is we do get this new currency and we can exchange it for several items. And one of the options is actually Lucians, so we're going to be able to get 2 of them per update. So I think this actually replaces the ones we'll get from the events. So we don't have to manage our event currency to kind of try to get everything in that main event in the update and also get Lucians. Instead, we can just do it separately and it's a lot more organized. I really appreciate it. So it's still gonna be the same thing for Lucians per update. I think I missed one. I can't remember how, but okay. Anyway, that's Mjolnir settled, and I do already have Gustav Klimt M, I do already have Michelangelo T, and the Theresa Origin set. Also, I do have Ogier B. I'm not sure if I upgraded one, but it's a 4-star Stigma, so it's not hard to upgrade. Then we go to Tesla Band T, Plank M, and Michelangelo B, which are all available in the exchange house, so I'll just be waiting for resonators, either from bad pulls or from the open world. The only thing here that's not easily accessible will be Hekate's Gloom. So if I really want to pull for it, I should just hold on to my crystals and wait for a Hekate's Gloom banner, and it'll take a while to build this one up, but I'm not too concerned about it because I do have stuff like Gustav, and Mjolnir will be coming up soon, so it's gonna be strong either way. The part of my arsenal that I want to focus on right now is the Heasha of Reason. So I'm definitely going to be saving a lot of my crystals and trying to pull on any Key of Reason banners that pop up, and any good weapon will be equipped on the corresponding Valkyrie. If it's not a good weapon, I'll probably salvage it if it's really bad. And then if I get bad stigmata, I will also salvage them and try to work towards building up the physical team that I was talking about, because stuff like Plank M and Michelangelo are widely used. So since I do already have Zoro M and B, if I do have like another set, I could throw them around and have more than one physical DPS. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I think one of the major mistakes I made was not seeing Flame Sakitama as a DPS. So since she wasn't like on high priority in my mind, I became really careless with where I locked her, and that's the problem. So yeah, that's one thing I have to look out for, to keep Flame Sakitama as a DPS option and try to build a team around her. So the first objective for building a fire team right now is to get the musician set. And I will require a lot of SS Imaginons. I can actually already buy one part, and it'll probably be the M part because it's a really good support option. So yeah, that's all for this week. My first week in Masters in the Memorial Arena. Did really terribly, but you know, it's the first week. So I'm thinking next week I would probably get somewhere around 90, maybe 92,000 if I'm really lucky with the boss selection. You know, because of the Valkyries and equipment that I have, I think that might be a realistic target. So anyway, that's all for this week. Sorry for posting a little late, I was kind of busy, and I'm also planning stuff for the channel, so do look out for future videos, because there'll be some exciting stuff coming to the channel. And as always, this has been MG, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys soon.